All right. So when did you start? What
So
was it?
Braid came out in 2008, which means I was a professional in the video games industry for 12 years before that game came out. And what I was doing initially, I started my company with a friend from college. Neither of us had any video games experience whatsoever except for playing them. In January 1996, which was like when, if you remember Q Test, I don't know if you guys were PC back then, but if you remember Q Test, which was the multiplayer
Quake.
Quake online
Yep.
thing, like that had just come out, right? And regular Quake was coming out later that year, right? And so it was right exactly when video games were going 3D, which meant all this stuff was really hard to figure out. But you didn't yet have 3D accelerators that help you and make things more beautiful and do a lot. So you had to program every pixel on the screen and somehow make it all 3D. And here I am, I've never made a professional video game before. I had some more hobby stuff that I did in college and whatever. And it's like, oh my God, this is so hard. And so me and a friend, we toiled in an office for like 3 or 4 years making a multiplayer, server-based, drop-in, drop-out science fiction war game, which was pretty good technically for the time. It was really good, but I wasn't that good at design yet. So it was like, there was some relatively minor tweaks in design could have made it a much more enjoyable, more popular game, but I didn't know yet. I didn't have that experience. Design is actually pretty hard. Here's the other thing for people who want to get into games is like, it's easy to have ideas about what would be cool, but like there's really a long way between that and like a game that actually works, right? And that's one of the things you learn from experience. And I didn't have that experience yet. But so we made that, and we were really poor for years. We ended up like $120,000 in debt back when that was really real money, you know, like in 1999, 2000. And that was my first game industry experience.
Welcome to the biz.
Yeah, and then you laid yourself off.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, you did.
And it was the worst because like I always had this personality, like I'm not giving up, I'm not giving up, we're going. But one day I just look at it and I'm like, okay, wait, really? We could keep doing this, or it could just be time to push the reset button. And I was like, let's push the reset button. And that was a good choice, honestly. It was a very grueling time. I was really burned out and couldn't really program for a long time after that because I just worked so hard.
Yeah.
And like, if you haven't experienced this, it's hard to explain, but I would sit down in front of the computer and want to program and my brain just wouldn't do it anymore, you know? And, you know, I was poor and we decided to split the debt and pay it back as opposed to declaring bankruptcy or something. So I was off just doing various jobs to pay back my $60,000 of in the hole.
That's awesome.
But it was essentially a failure, except it was actually very, very good because it was so hard to do the things that we did. It was the absolute best, or I won't say absolute best, but it was a very good like boot camp for how do you build up your skills to be able to do these ambitious kind of things, because you know, you have these big dreams. You've never done games professionally before, so you don't know just how ambitious they are. And you're making them all happen. And it's only you. It's two guys in a room in the beginning. We hired some people later, but nobody, you know, if you don't do it, it's simply not going to happen, right? There's not like a rest of a team to ride on. And at a bigger company, there's a certain amount of momentum, right? Because like the whole project is moving forward. And that is a relief in some way. It's way less stressful because you're like, okay, if I'm not having a good day today, other people are doing stuff. It's fine, right? Whereas when you're on your own, it's like, if I'm not having a good day today, no progress is being made. And that just makes it feel so much worse. But then the thing about a big company that has that momentum is it actually, the coordination with other people and with the process of the company slows you down.
Sucks the life right out of you.
Yeah. Well, that too, that too. But just in terms of like, as a programmer, how many things do you program and how much stuff do you try and all that? That's way slower on a bigger team. Whereas if you're on your own, it's like you're revving your engine as fast as you can make it go, right?
That's right.
And so I learned really a lot. But I lost a lot of money as well.
What was it? Did that company it must have had a name? What was the name?
Yeah, it was called Bolt Action Software, as in a bolt action rifle.
that's
And
a
you
good
can look
name.
it up,
That's
and
cool.
you can probably find some, video and screenshots of the game we made. It's going to look crappy by modern standards because every game from back then looked crappy.
Oh yeah.